Hey, this is Tricia Nelson with Heal Your Hunger. And if you really want to learn how to level up your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine Today podcast with my good friend, Scott Ferguson.
Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and this is the first episode of 2022. So happy new year to everybody. I hope you crush your double deuce. The 22, it's just going to be a fantastic year across the board. And I wanted to open up this year with my good friend Tricia Nelson from Heal Your Hunger. There's a lot of people, especially going through the holidays, will emotionally eat. And Tricia is a transformational specialist. She's an author. She's a speaker. She's an overall rock star. I love her guts. And she has a fantastic book that we have a giveaway for. But just if you're going through some times or you have a friend that you know is going through some times on emotional eating, please give this podcast a listen. Break out your notebooks and let us make a personal, warm introduction to Tricia just to help you level up. So without further ado, here's my really good friend, Tricia Nelson from Heal Your Hunger. Let's level up. Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I have an awesome hookup for you today with my really good friend, Tricia Nelson from Heal Your Hunger. Tricia's lost 50 pounds by identifying and healing the underlying causes of her emotional eating, which I struggle with that after my brother's suicide and also some PTSD that I deal with from overseas and whatnot. And she's just a breath of fresh air. She works a lot with women, but men, listen, because I know you might have a significant other and bosses out there that have ladies working for you. You want to level them up, then you definitely want to listen here. You know, she's spent over 30 years researching the hidden causes of the addictive personality. Tricia is an emotional eating expert and author of the #1 best-selling book, Heal Your Hunger, which, side note, I will have a book giveaway that Tricia will autograph that will be on Time to Shine Today's dime. But you have to listen to the end, so you have to stay on. Okay, and again, she certifies health coaches so they can get better results, referrals, and revenue by helping their clients overcome emotional eating. Tricia is the host of the popular podcast, The Heal Your Hunger Show, which when we're done, don't go over there now, but make sure you subscribe. Her episode 342 is just fire about saying nice things. It's kick-ass, and you're going to love it. She also has a secret sauce group, which I'm a little bit offended because that's what I kind of call mine, a little bit of secret sauce, but I guess we can share it because I just love this lady so much. She is a well-respected speaker and has been featured on numerous media outlets such as NBC, CBS, KTLA, Fox, and Discovery Health. And welcome to the show, Tricia. Please introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Oh, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me, Scott. My favorite color is pink, and
You're rocking it.
Happen to be wearing pink today. Yeah. And because it's a happy color, it's just you can't see pink and not be happy.
I love that. I love that. In pink, believe it or not, if you look at some of my other videos, I rock pink because it's in my color wheel. So I have the
real men wear pink as far as I'm concerned.
Pink, salmon, purple, we rock it all. Right?
You bet.
So let's get a little bit to the origins, man. 50 pounds is a big loss. A lot of people don't understand how much that is, not only to lose it, but to keep it off and to make the decision to help others level up. So can we get to the origins?
Yes. I mean, straight back to like age 3 or 4, I loved food. I loved to cook. I didn't learn to cook at 3, but I certainly loved to eat at 3 and 4. And, but when I did learn to cook, I loved to cook food for other people, go out to restaurants with my family. I mean, just obsess about food. It's all I thought about. Gotcha. So, which wouldn't be a terrible thing. You just called me a foodie. The problem is I did gain weight really easily. And by age 21, I was 50 pounds overweight, and I'm not a big person. So I'm like 5'6". So, it was a lot of weight for me. And not only that, Scott, I was also just really unhappy about the weight. Like I was not one of those people who could shrug it off and like, well, I love food. This is the trade-off. I was really unhappy about my weight. In our culture, it's hard, it's hard. And it was hard being bigger than my friends. It was hard, not being as mobile as I wanted to be. So it really took a toll on me. And the fact that no matter what I tried in terms of diets, the fact that they didn't work for me, like I could lose weight, but I always put it back on. So I was what you would call a yo-yo dieter. I'd be like up 30, down 20, up 10,
right.
And I had like 5 different sizes of pants in my closet because I never knew what size I'd be. So right. It was a big struggle for me. And when the writing was on the wall for me, like diets aren't going to work for me, I felt very hopeless. Like, wow, I'm screwed, but turns out there was an alternative for me. And I met somebody who showed me how to deal with emotional eating, and that I didn't know I was an emotional eater. And that helped, like, it turned everything around for me. That, going deeper and dealing with why I kept eating, why I was using food in a destructive way, that's
Sure.
what turned everything around for me.
How did you connect with that person? Because that's what a lot of people, I had mad problems with sleeping, right? And it just took me research after research to find somebody to help me to level down at night. How did you find that person?
Well, I mean, I got to credit God. I mean, I was saying some prayers, my
Thank you for
prayers
saying that.
were, yeah, my prayer was, I can't do this. And it wasn't even a direct prayer to God. It was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't keep doing this. And sometimes, all I need, my experience is you don't necessarily have to go looking for what you need. You have to be clear about what you don't need anymore, and then what you need shows up. So I was very blessed to be introduced to somebody who worked with people who were kind of like, quote, hopeless cases. And I felt like a hopeless case. So that's basically what happened. And the nice thing is my program, I fashioned my program around what I was taught and what I've been practicing for over 30 years to stay in a thin body, by the grace of God. But there's a very specific process I went through, and I've really codified that process. And that's what Heal Your Hunger is all about. So I try to make it as accessible as possible. And thanks to you and other people who host me on their podcast, to let people know it doesn't have to be so hard. You don't have to diet. You don't have to even jump on a scale. You can have a whole new experience with
It's all
food.
about that lifestyle. I understand. So how much do you feel, without getting too drawn out and doctory on us, but how much do you feel hormones play a part in getting your body, leveled up and to where you can maintain and live that lifestyle?
Well, I am not a doctor, so I won't get doctory on you.
Thank you.
I'm a lay person, and I'm a coach. I'm an emotional eating coach. And my experience is hormones are important, but they're typically, if somebody struggles chronically with food and weight, my experience is it's more of a problem of emotional eating. So you got to, of course, get your hormones checked, make sure your thyroid's, working properly, and such. But at the end of the day, how the stress is going to play a big part in how our hormones operate, and how much we crave. So dealing with stress, changing our lifestyle habits, like you mentioned, and then digging out some of the deeper emotions. And you mentioned that at the beginning too, the PTSD and the experiences that might be contributing, to emotional eating. That's to me where people aren't spending enough time.
Love that. That's transparency right there, because everything digs deep into the emotions. And you and I are both coaches. We're not therapists. We really dig deep. And so being a coach, what do you think makes a great coach in your field?
Well, when it comes to addictions, I really feel like somebody has to have been there, and so, I mean, that's really the basis of Alcoholics Anonymous, one alcoholic helping another, because anybody who's had an addiction knows the hell of it. And so, a lot of my clients, they really resonate with me because I've been 50 pounds overweight, because I know the secret hell. And I talk about it on my podcast. I'm super transparent about,
yes, you are.
The different things I share. And I think it just connects me to people, because it is a lonely condition, to eat. We don't binge in public. Like, we wait till everybody's gone to bed.
So true. So
right?
true.
We're very civilized in public. And then at night, when everybody's in bed, then we go to town. And then we feel awful, and then we hate ourselves and beat ourselves up, and then we do it all over again. So it's a very secretive, shameful, isolating thing to do. And so, knowing that somebody else has been there, like, it's hard to just get nutritional advice from somebody who's never been overweight. For me, there's part of my brain that's like, how would you know? You've never been there.
Sure.
And so the connection I'm able to create with people because I have been there, to me, makes all the difference in the world. No matter what somebody's coaching on, if you have experienced it, like yourself, I mean, you're a speaker, you're a coach, you're a business person. And so anybody who's looking for help in those areas, they're going to be relating to you.
Love that. And so when you work one-on-one, some with people, correct?
I do most of my work in groups and a little bit one-on-one.
Okay. So if you're working with groups or even one-on-one, and here comes those two words, if you don't mind sharing a little bit of the secret sauce that you help them find their blind spot.
Well, again, I will say it helped. The groups is great because of that isolation factor. It just pulls people out of their isolation and helps them know they're not the only ones who've done
something
things.
in kind with somebody else. Absolutely.
That helps. And loving each other up, support, all that helps. But I will say I've been a meditator for over 30 years. And meditation is one of the things I teach my clients for helping them stay grounded and more just emotionally balanced. And for me, the fact that I've been there, having had the personal experience, but also, so three things. I've been there, I've done the work on myself. So I know the inner workings of the emotional eater's mind, but also because I'm a meditator and I've done this work, I'm super intuitive. And so I can, when somebody's here's the deal. I told my mentor a long time, his job was to comfort me when I'm afflicted and to afflict me when I'm comfortable. And that's my job as a coach. So if someone's, feeding me a line of bullshit, I'm going to call bullshit,
Sure.
and my clients appreciate that about me, and I'm super nice and loving about it, but at the same time, you have to, you have to. And at the same time, if someone's beating themselves up, I'm going to jump in to protect them and block for them because I don't want them beating themselves up. So it's sort of that beautiful balance. But at the end of the day, I think intuition plays a big part of it.
The harmony that you have going on with that is fantastic. And I can actually see you jumping on them when they need it, that tough love. And so, Tricia, is when you're starting to work with groups, how did I say this? When you start working with groups or even one-on-one, is there any good questions that you wish that they would ask you but never do?
Well, I always tell people, it's not about the food, so if somebody's asking me like a whole lot about, what should I eat? And is it, should I eat this? And is this ingredient better than that ingredient? They're caught up in the obsession with food, which is a symptom. Food is a symptom. Overweight is a symptom of overeating. Overeating is a symptom of what's eating me. So I'm always going to gently bring them back to what's really going on and the real underlying causes. So not that I don't answer those kinds of questions, but to me, we can get really caught up. I mean, if you do a search right now for diet books on Amazon, you'll get over 60,000 results.
Real quick.
There's no shortage of diet information out there. There's a big shortage of, what the underlying causes are. So I'm always going to bring people back to that.
Thank you. So then, Tricia, what do you think your strengths are?
Well, I'm pretty direct, as you might have discovered. And I think that's important. I'm super compassionate and loving. I mean, to me, love is the foundation of the whole thing. And also I talk about God pretty openly.
Good for you. I'm a man of faith. So good for you.
Yeah. So I do.
Got my cross on now. So absolutely.
I mean, I keep it pretty open, kind of like 12-step programs, like God as you understand God, because I have many people of different religions who come to me. But, my goal, I tell people I don't have any willpower. So it's not my fight against food. I'm going to have to tap into a deeper source, and a divinity that's going to help.
Yes, lay it on your creator. For me, it's God. You lay it on them, and it just starts to come to the surface. So, to what extent do you think that you appreciate your strengths? Because a lot of people talk shit. I'm this, I'm that. But how much do you really appreciate your strengths? Because you're so transparent. What do you appreciate about them?
Yeah, I don't like to just beat my own drum. Okay. So
please do
talk about it a lot, but to me, that's it. The transparency really goes a long way. And just kind of being real with people. People like real, that's the only way to go.
Yes.
So I don't, also my own personal experience. If I come from my own personal experience, I can stay right sized. If it's always from my personal experience, and I have so much experience with this, both, personally and professionally. And if I stick to that, I feel like I'm pretty good. I'm not going to sound egotistical.
How about your limitations? What do you appreciate about any limitations that you have?
I'd say I would like to read more than I do. I'm so busy with my business that I don't read as much as I want to read. So that's always something that kind of bugs me.
I love that. So have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
Of course.
All right, let's get in that DeLorean with Marty McFly. Let's go back to the Double Deuce, the 22-year-old Tricia, I don't know if it was Nelson, but the 22-year-old Tricia, what kind of knowledge nuggets, that's what we call them here at Time to Shine today, what kind of knowledge nuggets are you dropping on the 22-year-old Tricia to maybe help her blast through, level up, or shorten any kind of learning curve?
Oh God, I would tell her straight up, I'd look her straight in the eyes and tell her she's good. I would also tell her to follow her heart, that her heart will never lie. And I'd tell her to, really just be proud of who she is.
Yes.
It took me a long time to get there. And, I wish I had that at 22.
Yeah. And do you think she would have listened?
Well,
I'm coming up on 50 and I know my 22-year-old be like, yeah, okay, dude. Awesome.
Doubtful, but I don't think you can hear it enough. And thankfully, I was 21 when I reached out for help. So fortunately, I had a mentor who told me those things for sure. So I got the training pretty early, but definitely it's a journey.
Love it. Love it. And so how do you want your dash remembered then, Tricia? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and your death date on your tombstone. How do you want your dash remembered?
To me, as she followed her heart, she shared a lot of light and love.
I'm writing that down. Sorry, give me a second. Followed heart, light, and love. I love it. Squad, I hope you're taking notes because this is a mad interview that's just fantastic. So let's get back in that DeLorean, this time with Doc Brown, where he says, where we're going, there are no roads, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
Where do you see your company in 5 years?
A household name, Heal Your Hunger, and making a major impact on the weight loss conversation to include emotional eating.
Love it. Thank you. There's so much that is like so mysterious about it. And that's why I was so stoked for this interview, because I suffered from it and I had to seek help on it as well. And now the lifestyle that I have, moving to Florida, getting the vitamin D, having a paddle board, I have my pit bull on the front every morning, doing yoga on the paddle board with my people over at my Ashtanga studio. It's fantastic. So what do you think? What do you think people misunderstand the most about Tricia?
About me personally?
Absolutely.
I think people look at me. First of all, they don't believe I was overweight, so I have to show them pictures.
Of course.
And sometimes they'll get pissed off because they don't know I was overweight. So like, what's this skinny bitch trying to tell me about weight loss?
Yes.
So yes. I have to sort of educate them about where I come from.
Sure.
And I think when you have a sort of somewhat public personality, and you sound good and maybe look good, people think you're perfect. And that's why I try to be as, candid as possible about my foibles, because I have a lot of them.
Sure.
But hopefully it helps people relate to me.
Love it. And they do. Absolutely. So then what keeps Tricia up at night?
Maybe a really good TV series.
Me too. Dude, I'm down with this new one. It's called Dope Sick, and it's on Hulu.
That looks good.
It's about the opioid crisis.
Okay.
And it's the most legit show that I've ever seen that digs deep, and it has some major stars in it. But yeah, you got to check it out if you haven't. If you're looking at something you just want to like kind of binge watch a little bit at night or something, it's fantastic. I'm careful what I let in my mind.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to be entertained just like everybody else. So
yeah, for sure.
So what is Tricia's definition of a life well lived?
Sharing light and love and being super healthy.
That's enough said on that. So let me ask you this one question though. Let's take out of the equation anything electronic. That includes cell phones, notebook, or iPads, whatever, computer. Yeah. What are 3 things Tricia can't live without?
I would say the water. I like to be on the water. I like to sail. I would say good food, good healthy food.
Too.
And I would say really good lovemaking.
Yes, community and Connection. Absolutely. I was hoping you're going to throw that in there somewhere, because I know that you said that you're bragging about how awesome and hot your boyfriend is in a couple of your podcasts. So that's fantastic. I love that you put that out there. I talk about my lady all the time and how fantastic she is. It only took me 48 years to find her. But it's just fantastic. Hey, time to shine today. Podcast Varsity Squad. We are back with my awesome sauce friend, Tricia Nelson from Heal Your Hunger. And Tricia, you and I could easily literally talk an hour about each one of these questions, but you have 5 seconds to answer with no explanations. You ready to rock?
Right. You bet.
Let's do it. What is the best leveling up advice Tricia's ever received?
Follow your heart and use your head.
Yes. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Getting on my knees first thing in the morning.
Yes. Thank you. Other than healyourhunger.com and of course, timetoshinetoday.com, my shameless plug. What website does Tricia go to level up?
Probably some of the communities that I belong to that give me support and love.
Beautiful. If you see me walking down the street, you're like, Fergie just seems like he's in his doldrums. Outside of Heal Your Hunger, what book are you handing me?
My favorite book is Emmett Fox, Around the Year with Emmett Fox, daily spiritual readings.
Never read it. I'm going to put it in the show notes. Look that up, Donnie, please. Thank you so much. What's your most commonly used emoji when you text?
A smiley face and 2 pink hearts.
Love it. What was your New Year's resolution?
Probably to read more.
Gotcha. Chess or checkers?
Checkers.
Love it. Me too. I kind of simple. I don't have time to learn the chess.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. Favorite charity and or organization you like to give your time or money to?
Hustle 2.0, helping men and women in prison to use their hustling skills for entrepreneurism.
Gosh, that's fantastic. Put that in the show notes. Look it up and put it in the show notes, Donnie, please. Last question, and you can elaborate a little bit on this one, Tricia, but what is the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Oh God, that's hard. I would say 60s.
60s, really? Okay, yeah, very cool.
My year. That's my decade.
Okay, very cool. Awesome. So let's talk. Yeah, actually, let me just ask you, how can we find you, Tricia?
Well, for sure, healyourhunger.com, HEAL, heal. Also on Instagram, Tricia Nelson _ at the very end of Tricia Nelson.
Okay.
And my group on Facebook is The Secret Sauce to End Emotional Eating.
I love it. And how about, is there still live the quitsugarchallenge.com?
Yes, okay. Absolutely. That
Very
you'll get notifications about the next one coming up. Quitsugarchallenge.com. It's a five days of classes on how to quit sugar and support in quitting sugar, so you can feel great, lose weight, and just be your healthiest.
And ladies that are out there, if you're listening, please reach out to me, because I'd like to pay for the first 10 women for her program. And it's not like it's a huge investment on part squad. It's only $17, man. It's so freaking worth it. And for the first 10 women that reach out to me directly, I'd like to pay your way in, if that's okay, Tricia.
That is so sweet. Absolutely.
Okay. Very cool. And let's talk about your book, Heal Your Hunger, 7 Steps to End Emotional Eating, or Emotional Eating Now.
Yep. Well, I lay out all my steps, and the things I do to heal. It's also got my personal story. And people love it. They just, it's got cartoons. It's also an Audible. I recorded it last year on Audible, so you can listen to it as well. It's a 5-hour listen.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's great.
And squad, for less than that supersized meal that you could go out there and not get, you can buy the paperback version. And for even maybe 2 cups of coffee at Starbucks, you can get the Kindle version right now. So I'm looking at paperbacks $9.97, Kindle $6.57. But I'd also like to buy a autographed copy from my good friend Tricia. What I'll do is I'll purchase the copy and mail it. Tricia, maybe you can handle the postage, mailing it out, Tricia. If not, I can Venmo you the money. But anybody that puts in, let me see, love each other up. We're going to say whoever says love each other up into any, whether it's Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, anyone that puts love each other up, I'm going to purchase the book, and my friend Tricia is going to sign it and mail it out to you. So Tricia, do me one huge solid, last one. I'll leave us with one last knowledge nugget we can take with us, internalize, and take action
on. Your problem is not food or weight.
I love it. It's about the emotional. And squad, this has come from someone that really could not shrug it off, being able to take that weight off and keep it off. She was having a hard time comparing herself to her friends, and she wants to tell you that if you're looking at being leveled up and really lock into your emotional eating, let me make that direct, soft, nice introduction to my good friend, Tricia. And when you're working with somebody that if you're going through the emotional eating, find yourself a coach like Tricia, which I hope that you do, that has went through with addictions, walked the path, that when you look at her, you're like, man, why would I want to listen to this skinny bitch, right? So you really want to find somebody that has walked the path, that's kept it off and lives a lifestyle. They know the hell of it. And again, love each other up. And no matter what community you're in, Tricia reminds us to love each other up. She's a coach that will give you comfort when afflicted, but she's also going to bring the hammer down when you're not following the protocol, which she knows that will help you. She's direct and loving. She's also humble to understand her weaknesses and is always looking to level those up. She'll remind you and her younger self, and no matter where you are in life, you are good. Follow your heart. It will never lie, and be proud of what you do. And she will be remembered as somebody that has followed her heart and shed light and love. And she's earned her varsity squad letter here at Time to Shine today. Tricia, you level up your health. You level up your wealth. You're just a rock star. You're humble yet hungry. And thank you so, so much for coming on. We love your guts. Can't wait to collaborate with you.
Thank you so much.
Chat soon.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast. Proudly brought to you by Sutter and Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you're a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.